My name is Bee, and I'm on the outside.
I'm Vermont Roberts, aka Velma, and I'm on the inside.
Page 65 podcast.
Inside,
Outside.
where the inside world
and the outside world
bridge.
It's not right that, they take advantage of you guys. You don't have ability to shop anywhere else, but yet they jack up these prices of dollar store items and double and triple the prices, and you guys get paid pennies per day, and it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
Even if they're making $10 a month, who can live on $10 a month? I mean, and you guys are having to pay more than people on the outside. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, some people can afford it, and if you can afford to go to Canteen, you can buy food, you can buy hygiene items,
Right.
you can buy laundry time to wear own laundry. So if you do get food items, we have one microwave per wing, and there's 64 women on each wing. So we have to share the microwave if you can get in there.
People out there, be thankful for your microwave. You do not understand a microwave line until you've stood in one for 2 hours.
And it's so crazy how, like, prison politics, people can be like, just call the microwave and be like, oh, room 221 waves after count, and everybody just kind of adheres to that.
Right.
Like, it's open, you should be able to get in, but, like, people call in, they're like, I'm after room 2221. And then it's crazy because there's no courtesy with Soy's line, but there's no courtesy once you get into the microwave, because there's some people, like, are in there for, like, hours at a time, and they won't let anybody else in there.
Yes.
You had a hot pot, but for people who don't have a hot pot, they just wanted to, like, heat up a cup of coffee or pop a bag of popcorn, you had to wait for somebody to finish cooking a full course meal in order to get some hot water for your coffee. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was, for sure. I know. With me, I kind of try to be a little bit of a rebel, and as soon as they would call count time, I would throw my food in there and hope it would be done before the officer started walking the wing. So most of the time it worked.
Yeah.
It beeped about the time they walked in. I'm like, oh no! So, but I never got in trouble. So there was one time they did take it out to the bubble, and they're like, whoever on wing, A or whatever had their food in the microwave, please come to the bubble. And I had to negotiate with them. Please don't throw my food out and my bowl out. And they're like, you're not going to do this again, are you? And I'm like, no. And I wish I could say I didn't, but I probably did.
No, I'm not leaving my bowl in the microwave for them to take it and throw it away. And then they don't throw away, but they use psychological warfare on you. They're like, you can throw this away yourself or you're going to get a violation. So, like, they make you throw your own food away. And you're like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want a violation either.
I know.
So it's like, you have a choice, but really you don't have a choice.
Exactly. So what do you think is one of the most consumed foods there in prison, like purchased through Canteen? What would you say?
Junk food.
Right.
Chips, cookies, honey buns.
Yes.
Fat cakes are number one things that are sold here.
Yes.
And, noodles, ramen noodles.
Yes, that too.
They used to be the cheapest thing, but shoot, even now they're expensive because you wouldn't get, like, one ramen noodle for, like, 70 cents plus tax.
Oh, my
You have to pay
goodness.
taxes in prison.
That is ridiculous. That's way more expensive than out here. I mean, you buy the main brand of ramen noodles, you're probably spending 40 cents, as opposed to in there you get some off brand and it's double the price. That's ridiculous. Well, you guys get so creative with ramen noodles. Like, I was not very creative. I would just put ramen noodles and throw some of the beans in there and cook it and call it good. But, man, you guys make pizzas out of ramen noodles and all this stuff. Tell us about it.
My favorite brand noodle meal is a crunchy, a hard crunchy, and you have soft crunchies. Yeah, and I like the soft crunchies. I don't like hard crunchies.
Right.
So a hard crunchy is where you don't put any water on it, and a soft crunchy is where you do put water on it and you soften the noodle. It's like the difference between a hard shell taco and a soft shell taco. You split it in half, you wet the noodle, and then you make it almost like a pizza. So you put a layer of cheese, you put a layer of pizza sauce or spaghetti sauce or any kind of sauce that you want to put on there, and you cut up some summer sausage. You cut up some meat or pepperoni or whatever type of meat you like. You put it on there, and sprinkle some ramen noodle seasoning on it. You can add some garlic, some onions, whatever flavor, and then you put it in the microwave. I like to about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and you take it out. Pretty good though, you know. But my favorite like snack item, my favorite is like a honey bun sandwich, and that's like a diabetic coma.
Right.
A diabetic coma sandwich, but it's so good. B, what's your favorite?
Oh my goodness. What I did, this was my breakfast for a couple of years. I don't know how people didn't have to roll me out of there. I would open the jar of peanut butter. I would take a bite of a Swiss roll, add a spoonful of peanut butter, a bite of a Swiss roll, and sometimes I would do 2 of those. I cannot believe I did not like gain so much weight. So if it wasn't for you, honestly, I would have. But we'll get into all of that later on. But that's a different episode, guys. That's a different episode. But yeah, it's amazing how creative these girls are. I mean, pizza, for goodness sake. Using crackers for the crust? Who would have thought about that in the outside world?
Oh, I love pizza.
And they're way better than those little kits you used to be able to buy. Those things were like cardboard, man. But the ones that you girls made were so good. Oh, my goodness.
If you guys hit us up on our emails, if you guys want, we have some recipes if you ask about them.
Right.
Yeah, pizza is one of my favorite things.
You know, we can share some recipes with you guys. And, you know, and also girls will make like little French fries in there. I was never that creative. But I mean.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so I never personally made them, but I saw them make them. They'd use some of the potato flakes and like crush up chips and stuff like that and kind of form them together and cook them. And I mean, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
They didn't really look like a French fry like we know it on the outside. I mean, oh my goodness, these girls, they're so creative. You know, kind of a funny little side note. So when I was in prison, my husband bought me 3 prison cookbooks through Amazon and sent them in. You know, you used to be able to do that. I don't think you can anymore. Every one of them got denied. Oh my goodness. They would not let me have them. So then I had to either throw them away, as you know, or I had to pay to send them back. So I had to pay like $10 to send these back. And my husband told me later on they didn't even cost him $10 to get. So he's like, you should have just thrown them away. But they're still sitting in my cabinet right now because it's like this kind of nostalgia. I can't throw it away. I never really used them in prison, but just the idea that my husband for my birthday gift was getting cookbooks that that kind of goes back to some of the crazy rules they have in prison. I couldn't get these prison recipe books. One of the excuses was there was a drink called poison, even though it didn't obviously have poison in there. And then also somewhere in there it told like how to make money off your food, and of course that's not allowed. So they were vetoed. They were on the no-fly list.
You can't have side hustles.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't afford to go to canteen, they do have sanctioned meal times where you could go to the dining hall and eat. And they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And breakfast is usually after 5 o'clock count. Breakfast is actually the best meal in prison, so they have it super early, so it deters a lot of people from going. And as you know, I don't know if you remember, but like the dining room, that's the one place where a lot of things go down.
Yeah. That's true. I saw a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of drama in prison. But yeah, I know. I wasn't a huge fan of going to the chow hall. I'm just so picky. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, in R&O, you have to go. You have no option. I barely ate anything. But that's how I made friends. I gave them food.
I know, and you're a vegetarian too, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard to be a vegetarian in prison.
It is. So then as soon as I hit yard, you better believe I ordered canteen like I'll get out. I mean, I was one of those girls with 2 bags you could barely carry. I'm like, I'm never going to eat at the chow hall again.
You were a baller.
So eventually I calmed down when I realized, like, when I think it was about the time I moved to Chillicothe from Vandalia, and I realized I had to move this stuff with me. I'm like, oh, this was a bad idea. So I learned from that.
So, if you can't carry it, don't buy it.
Oh, I know. And, oh, my goodness. Remember the girls would pay other people to carry their bags, or their girlfriends would carry their bags? There's a lot of side hustles. But one thing I did actually make in prison that I actually was sort of proud of was I would call them scallop potatoes. I'm sure other people did them too. I probably learned it from someone, to be honest. I doubt I created it.
Did anybody ever really create anything?
Probably not, you know. It came from someone somewhere. But yeah, so
Right.
I would just crunch up some of the sour cream and onion chips, and then I'd add just a little bit of water to them, not a lot, but just enough, and then cook them, and it would make them sort of like scallop potatoes, and or I guess that's what it's called. Maybe it's au gratin potatoes. I think it's scalloped though. And so,
Mhm.
and I would eat that, and it was like, it reminded me of my childhood because my mom used to make them, and so that was pretty cool. Although they give me a bellyache, I couldn't eat
Oh.
very much of them, but yeah. Oh, and ice cream. We didn't talk about ice cream. That is one thing you can get when they have it in prison is a
Yes.
pint of
Yes,
ice
that's
cream.
true. They
Yes.
have butter pecan now, my favorite.
Oh my
So
goodness.
good.
Yes.
But they're not selling ice cream right now again until August.
Aw, that's
So
lame.
sad.
Yeah. I used to like the
Yeah, and they
cookies
have
and
banquet
cream.
chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like $13 a box.
Oh my
But
goodness.
and it's by weight, so you can get anywhere from like 2 to 6 pieces. But
Wow.
that's one thing a lot of people buy every week safely. I buy it once in a while, and I'm gonna get some next week, so I'm super
Right.
excited, guys.
Yeah. And besides that, like if you get like a meat that's not like a cured meat or something like that, it's hard to keep it good. And if you get something that is frozen or fresh, then you've got to like use it right away. I mean, they do have lunch boxes, and a lot of people will pack ice in them, but that only works for so long. Because
Few days at the most.
we don't have a refrigerator there. We didn't even touch on that. We don't have a refrigerator. We don't have a freezer. We can buy a cooler from Canteen, and we can maybe get ice. Maybe get ice. Now the ice line, that's a whole different story. You may be in the ice line for 2 hours too. So if you even have it, because your ice machine may be broken. So and they may ration it.
My favorite thing that I'm probably gonna miss is a food visit. We can have food visits. If you're in general population, you get 2 food visits a year, and if you're on an incentive storm, which if you stay out of trouble, you get to go to the incentive storm where you get extra privileges. And if you're on the incentive storm, you get 10 food visits a year.
Right.
And so because of my last violation of going to administrative segregation, I lost my incentive status, so I won't be getting any food visits for the rest of this year. So sad. And the thing that I liked about my food visit is that, I'm African, so my family cook like home cooked meals and bring them in. And I'm so gonna miss that. You know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah.
So sad. But it's okay.
Yeah. Well, this 6 months hopefully will go by quickly, or maybe they'll be able to get it resolved. But yeah, that's no fun when you have ethnic or cultural food that you want to partake in, and you just literally can't get it anywhere else. So
nowhere else. I can't even imitate it with Canteen items.
Exactly.
It's not happening.
You can get those spices or anything. Yeah, I understand that. And that can definitely be frustrating. But it gives you something to look forward to. So at least focus on that.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool things to think about with eating in there, whether you're buying food from Canteen and making food in the microwave, because we don't have a stove. That's another thing we didn't touch on. There's no stove. You literally have a microwave. That is it. So you have to be very creative, and you're limited on what you can buy because you don't have a refrigerator, so you don't have any type of way to store it. So most all the meats are cured, like pepperoni and sausages and stuff like that. On occasion, they do have the banquet chicken. But basically, sometimes they'll have like specialty items that they have for a certain amount of time.
So we've been talking about prison and food, but I'm curious to know how the food process works on the outside, because it's been a long time since I've been out there, and I would like to know.
Well, I mean,
what do you guys do for food?
Right. Well, it kind of depends. I mean, my family's pretty busy, so unfortunately, we don't really do a whole lot of sit down eating at home meals as much as I would like to, just because we're all so busy. But like tonight, I did a real quick meal. I just did chicken quesadillas, and so like on the weekend, I'll normally just cook up a bunch of chicken. I'll buy like the frozen individual chicken breast. And I just throw them on a big cookie sheet and just cook them, so I have them for the week, so I can make really simple, easy meals throughout the week. So like with me tonight, I had some of that cooked up chicken that I made over the weekend, and I just cut it up, and I had a skillet, and I put a tortilla in it and got it kind of warm, and I put some cheese down, and I put the chicken down, and then I put cheese on top of it and the other tortilla on, which you could add things like salsa or anything like that, but my family's pretty picky. They keep them pretty plain. And so you just cook it for a minute
Yeah.
or two on one side, and then you flip it, cook it for a minute or two on the other side, and voila, you have a quesadilla. And my daughter liked it tonight, so that's a win. So
One for the home team.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but like, what I want to know is like, where do you do your food shopping, and do you go out to eat? Because like, our going out to eat, as I've told you, is like going to the dining hall, which
Right.
sometimes we pretend we're at like a fancy restaurant or
Right.
whatever.
Well, like for instance, tonight I went to the grocery store before I came home. So after work I left, I just went to the grocery store. Normally I'll go to
Mhm.
Walmart because they normally have the best prices in my opinion, but we have a couple local grocery
Mhm.
stores that run specials every now and then, and I just so happened to check the ad out
Mhm.
earlier. We are out of cereal and I was like, "Okay, I need to go to the store." So I just looked and the local superstore had it cheaper than Walmart. So I'm like, "Score, let's go there."
How much was the cereal?
I got it on sale for like $2.99 a box. Yeah, it was closer to $5 a box normal price. That's one reason why I was getting it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. I think it normally at Walmart it was like $4.98 or something.
The cereal here is like, well, Cheerios, something, I think it's like $6 now. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, I'm going to have to stop buying cereal because it's so expensive. You're
Right.
saying it was like two something?
Now, do you guys do the big bag? Is it like the big bags, kind of like the
Yeah.
Malto Meal brand? Yeah, these are like, I think these are like 15, 16-ounce boxes. So they're not very big. They're not as big as what you guys get there. But they were name brand. It was like Fruit
Mhm.
Loops and Frosted Flakes and Corn Pops and Mini Wheats. So my husband
Mhm.
has to have name brand. So, and unfortunately, he's raised the kids that way. So I'm El Cheapo. I'm like, I'll get the off brand, and he's like, no, you won't. So I just went to the store, bought the stuff. It's very similar to the concept there, except there you order it on a kiosk and someone fills that order. We have the same thing out here, but we actually pay people to do it. Like for instance, like my sister-in-law, she will get online at Walmart's
Mhm.
website and she'll put in her order and she'll set us a pickup time and she'll go and pick it up and all she doesn't even step foot in the store. It gets brought to her car, gets loaded up, and she's good to go. Or you can have
Wow.
it dropped off at your
Mhm.
doorstep and they'll bring it to your house. So, but you pay extra for that.
Wow.
I don't mind going to the store. It's kind of fun. I don't want to be there all day, but it's kind of a neat little getaway from life. But I have a friend that he gets paid to take people's groceries to them and to do their shopping. And it's so funny because it reminds me of when I worked at
Wow.
Canteen. I would do people's shopping. I was getting paid, but a whole lot less than he's making. I think my going rate, I think it got up to maybe
We
65 or something before I left.
I mean, all those Uber Eats and everything, having a food shopper, it sounds very interesting, but I'm like looking forward to actually going to the store and being
Right.
overwhelmed by all the choices.
Yes.
But, going shopping for myself, like I'm looking forward to that.
I agree. Yeah. And that's maybe one reason why I like it so much. It reminds me I'm in the real world.
Mhm.
And every now and then I'll think
Yeah.
back to when I was in prison. I mean, I kind of just chuckle about it. Like, I remember that.
So really what it sounds like our prison life and outside life really aren't very different when it comes to food because we all like to eat and
Exactly.
we find some way of getting food,
You're
you
right.
know. So it's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's so true. And the eating may look a little bit different, but girls in there, they're making the best they can, doing the best they can, and
Yeah.
no different than out here.
We have 4 women to a room and so is it me? Are they calling me Vermont Roberts or somebody else? I think it's somebody else. I wouldn't want to say mimic, but like, we bond with our roommates by having meals together sometimes. Or if it's somebody's birthday, we'll go out in the day room or outside on the yard. We'll cook a meal and have like a little party or get
Yeah.
together or something. So, we have moments that you have on the outside world in here as well. So,
That's right.
I cherish those moments. They don't always happen, but they do happen here and there every once in a while. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure, for
All
sure.
right, guys. That's all we have for this
Yeah.
episode. We hope to see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Keep on eating.
And maybe when you look at ramen, you'll think of us. You never look at ramen the same. I encourage you to try some of the recipes. Okay, it's been awesome, friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
Remember, you heard it first from Page 65 straight to your ears. Where our business is now your business.
And since our business is now your business, stay connected to find out what happens next on Page 65, Inside Outside.
And let us know if there are any questions, suggestions, or topics you want us to explore.
We may discuss it on an upcoming episode.
So email us at page65insideoutside@gmail.com.
And show us some love. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube feed at Page 65 Inside Outside. Love ya!
Love ya!